To add some flavor, let me bring this other guy up on Facebook. I usually don't want to talk to this guy, but I'm gonna bring him up anyway, just for shits and giggles. Primer,
Hey, Coach, what's up, my brother?
everything's good.
Hello to your audience and to your lovely wife. I always give you greetings and to the rest of the hosts. I'm sorry, the rest of the guests that you have.
Yeah, usually I don't
I
do. I usually stop doing multiple guests, but we in it today. Go
No,
ahead.
that's okay. I realize you're the referee today. You're not in the chat, so and you notice the topic we have had before. I'll wait my turn, so you don't feel I'm interrupting. So I'll let your other guests, and then I'll get when my turn come around. Is that okay?
Okay, so do you believe the Bible condones transatlantic slave trade or slavery? Period.
The way you phrase the question, that's where the straw man is. So the question is to me, based on what you wrote, is if the Bible condones slavery. I would say yes.
So how is that different
In terms of the transatlantic slavery,
from?
I would say no, it's not the same treatment. And I'll make one other caveat to the Muslim.
Wait. Before we move forward, what is the type of slavery that the Bible condones?
Hold 1 sec. I forgot to put on my earpiece. Hold 1 sec.
deconstruct. I need to go. Right.
Oh, Remy, I appreciate you being here, man.
All right. Thanks.
Okay.
Peace, everyone.
Okay. Right. Repeat your question for me.
What is the type of slavery that the Bible condones?
Right.
Well, let me be more clear because you can go all over the map on that one. Does the Bible condone chattel slavery?
Yeah, slavery, the one where you pass from one generation to the other.
Yeah, that's chattel slavery. Owning someone's property for their entire life.
Yeah, I never shied away from that. I said that the last time when we were up here. Right. So I said that on the basis of what the Bible speaks about, right, and what we have read into it and what we have seen, is that people who were bought, right, or who were assimilated based on captivity by war, right, is that they were assimilated into the families of the Israelites. So meaning that when you bought a slave, it is essentially you were buying someone into your family for life.
No, you own them as property. It doesn't say anything about them being family. Leviticus 25, 44 through 46 does not say anything about them becoming family. It says they are owned as property and they're passed down as property. Not as family. So
here's what I'm saying. Before God met Abraham, right? Abraham had slaves. So before Abraham became the patriarch of the Jewish religion, Abraham had slaves.
Where do you get that?
Oh, we can go to the Bible.
Now, where in the Bible does it say that Abraham had slaves before he was called out by God, by this God?
Let's go to Genesis chapter. We got 2 verses. Genesis chapter 17. Let's go to there. Let me just make sure I got the correct reference here.
This is.
Let me just make sure I got it.
Okay, just where in 17?
Oh no, sorry, 15. My bad. 15. So 15 verse 2 says, right? It says, I can read the intro really quick. After these things, the word of the Lord came unto Abraham in a vision, saying, Fear not, Abraham, I am thy shield and thy exceedingly great reward. And Abraham said, Lord God, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless? And the steward of my house, this is Eliezer of Damascus. So essentially, he had no children, but in Abraham's culture and in his mind, that the next person who would inherit his property and all of his wealth is Eliezer of Damascus. You want some more? You want further reference?
Okay, so the slave inheriting is only because he doesn't have any children.
Right. So in essence, I'm saying that
But that's not the
before God
statement.
met him,
That's not the statement
this
you
was
made.
no, here was the statement I made. And here's what you asked me to provide the proof for.
No.
Did Abraham own slaves
That's-
before he was called?
Where did it say that?
I'm saying that the chief slave of Abraham's household was Eliezer of Damascus. Because he says he is Shilas, and the person who is in line is Eliezer of Damascus. If you want further evidence, right? Now let's go to chapter 14 and verse 14. Really easy.
Hold on. Now, it doesn't necessarily say slave. So I'm going back. You said when Abraham was first called out. When Abraham was first called out, that was actually in chapter 12. And he was told.
No.
What do you mean?
No problem. No problem. I got you. No problem.
So
I'm saying.
Hold on.
I'm saying.
It says that Abraham was told to leave with all of his with his wife.
Oh, okay.
His son
And
Lot.
what?
And
what?
Huh?
And what?
And then
The servant, right?
If you don't stop.
Go ahead.
It doesn't specify any servants. Right? So it says, now the Lord said to Abraham, go from your country and your kindred and your house and your father's house to the land that I will show you. I will make you a great nation, and I will bless you and make your name great, so that you will be a blessing. I will bless those who bless you, and him who curse you, I will curse them. By you all the families of the earth will be blessed. So Abraham went as the Lord told him, and Lot went with him. Abraham was 75 years old when he departed from Haran, and Abraham took Sarah, his wife, and Lot, his brother's son, and all their possessions which they had gathered, and the person. If you don't stop, and the person.
No, go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, but all that. Stop with the unhumming.
Right, this part. That's the part.
And the persons that they had gotten in Haran, and they set forth of the land.
What does that? What does that mean?
Now the persons. Now I can see how the persons that they had gotten in Haran could be slaves. So it could be slaves.
Okay, all right, could be. All right. No, but let's confirm it then. Let's confirm it.
Well, no, I'm good. I will grant you that Abraham had some slaves before he left. So that's fine.
But I want to confirm it.
It's confirmed. It's confirmed. He had some slaves. Okay. But what does that have to do? So chattel slavery was okay. That's the point that we're talking about. You this making them as your family, the treatments don't matter.
Right.
The question is, chattel slavery is okay, right? Was the transatlantic slave trade chattel slavery?
Yes.
Then it's condoned. The transatlantic slave trade is condoned.
What was my difference?
This is why I said treatment don't matter.
It matters.
Let me ask you, so
remember, we
treatment doesn't matter because are you property of another person that can be passed down to the inheritance?
Yeah, I'm a property of God.
No. No. You're for one, you're not. And then
you don't own no one, coach?
If you are, if I owned you as a slave,
right,
and I am able to pass you down to my son, you are chattel slave, right?
Correct. That's the transaction, right? We're not talking about the treatment.
Because treatment don't matter. Because how I treat you doesn't matter to the fact that you don't have agency of living your own life.
Right. But could we confirm the word chattel means the transfer? That's what it means. It's not talking about treatment. Could we agree on that?
Yeah, it's not talking about treatment, but you keep bringing up treatment.
So no, because most people, when they hear the word chattel, they think that it's referring to the treatment in the Atlantic, and I'm saying
But did
that's
I-
where the straw man is in the argument.
It's not a
'Cause we
straw
just
man.
confirmed-
It's not a straw man. I asked a very direct, simple question. I'm not talking about how other people, I'm talking about what I said.
Mhm.
Chattel
Right,
slavery is
so-
condoned in the Bible. Chattel slavery is the type of slavery that happened in the transatlantic slave
No,
trade.
not type. It's the transaction.
Was it not a transaction of you own somebody and can pass them down for generations?
Good. That's what we agree on. No problem.
So the transatlantic slave trade is condoned by the Bible.
Yeah, that's the same process by which was used in the Bible.
Then there is no argument. The Bible condoned the transatlantic slave trade.
No, I'm saying no. The transaction is one thing, the treatment is the other. Because in biblical slavery, Abraham, who is the forefather of the Israelites' religion, when he first is having conversations with God, right? He said, listen, I go childless, and the person who is going to own my resources is my chief, Eliezer. There are some 200 and I think 30 other men that was bought or born in his household.
So why was Eliezer going to receive his stuff? What's the context, as y'all like to say, of that conversation?
Right. So it's
Don't write, because when you write, you just skipping away from what I said. What's the context?
Let me finish. So remember, when you read in chapter 12, he had his nephew with him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, good. Now, in his conversation with God, right, he's telling God, hey, the person whom I esteem to collect my resources is the slave, although he had his nephew with him, Lot, right? So I'm saying, if in the context, and even though, and I point, this is what I point out also, the promise that God gave to Abraham was not so much through his son Isaac and their generation, but it was to also the entire household of slaves of Abraham.
So one, in the context of the conversation in, what is that? Chapter 15, Abraham is saying, hey, look, if you give me all this stuff, the only person I can give it to is this slave.
No,
But then the God says, nah, bro, you ain't giving nothing to this slave. It's going to your son.
No, well, that's the point. In his mind, since he went childless and God is now approaching him, he said, well, what will you give me? Because if I don't have anything to inherit, to pass on, the next person's going to pass it on to is the slave.
Because that's the cultural norm for that era of time. But
and that has been the same.
And Abraham is in distress because he's saying that I'm going to have to give all my good shit to this slave. All that stuff, when I pimped out Sarah in Egypt, when I pimped her out in to Amalek,
go ahead.
I'm going to have to give all my shit to this slave. And this God is saying, no, he shall not be your heir. Your own son shall be your heir. All right?
Correct.
So
I'm saying, but what then is the understanding in Abraham's mind of whom his inheritance would next be passed on to?
Okay, it'll be going to his slave, but
okay, cool.
What does
Although he had his nephew with him, right?
That has nothing to do with chattel slavery being condoned in the Bible and chattel slavery being condoned in the transatlantic slave trade. It is chattel slavery.
So here's where we differ on. As I continue to say, the process is by treatment.
And here's the thing, where we differ on, you're picking one little thing. So let's look at, so since we're going to do this treatment thing, which, as I will state, treatment don't matter. Could you beat your slaves in the Bible? Is it condoned to beat your slaves?
Yes, it is.
How severely can you beat your slave?
It gives an example, and it says that if they die, then you're going to have repercussions. But it says that you can beat them. Well, let me answer. It says, let me repeat what I said.
Go ahead.
This is what I said. I said that you can punish your slave, right? There were certain criteria. One, you couldn't punish the slave if you made them die. There were repercussions, right? That's what I said.
Okay. But wait,
If
don't go to two. Don't go to two yet. Let's deal with one.
No, it's on the same. It's on the same. It's on the same point.
Okay.
I just outlined the others. I think if you injured an eye or a tooth or something like that, then they were free to go.
That's a Hebrew slave, not a chattel slave.
What? It's
That's
the
a-
same one.
Nope. That's a Hebrew slave that is under indentured servitude. That's not a chattel slave.
You asked me if I punish a slave.
There's different rules,
Well, okay.
but an indentured servant is not a slave. An
They still
indentured-
slave.
No,
It's the same word used in the Bible.
No, it's not. It's two different words. The indentured
Same.
servitude word is
Show me
side.
a word. Show me the word for the male servant or the male slave
it is-
if it's not the same word.
It's sire, and the
No, it's not.
and
It's
the
Ebed.
it's Ebed is the slave, is the chattel slave.
And it's the same
And
word
it
used
is-
throughout for servant.
No, it's not. But here's the
You
thing.
wanna
But no,
prove me wrong?
first, this is, and see, you didn't say, this is why I wanted to stop at point one, because your point one was incorrect. Right?
My point one was incorrect. That
Yes.
if they had beaten the slave to death, that there weren't repercussions. That's what I said.
Right. That's wrong. You're leaving out a very important detail.
No,
It says
I'm saying
that
if they
it says
beat
that
the person
if
to
you
death.
it says that if you beat the slave and he does not die for a
Right.
couple of days, 2 days, he doesn't die,
right?
then the master is not punished. But if he were to
Right.
die after the 2 days, the master's still
Right.
not punished. So the beating to death has to come where the person dies within 1 to 2 days. And then
Right.
there's
It doesn't
punishment.
matter if you die 1 day, 2 days. Once the person
No,
died,
no.
there were repercussions.
No, there's not. There's not. The repercussions.
So what you're saying? If they die on the 4th day, then there was no repercussions.
Yes, that's exactly what the Bible is saying.
Okay, let's be technical with it. I got no problem. I just hope that when I be technical, you accept it.
No, that's what it says. I'm going on what the
I'm
damn
not
thing
So
says.
listen, I'm not disputing whether or not what you said is incorrect. I didn't dispute that. I
Okay,
said
but
you're
hold
being-
on. So we're
I said
dealing,
you're being technical.
but hold on, we're dealing with something. So in American slavery, in the chattel slavery of the transatlantic slave trade, could you beat your slaves?
There's no accountability.
Could you beat?
No, I'm saying there's no accountability
Could-
in the transatlantic slave.
Could you beat?
Who are you accountable to?
But could you beat?
No,
your-
I'm saying that's not. In one sphere, there is a law. In the transatlantic slavery, was there a law, right, that prohibited any of the slave masters to beat, ill-treat, or kill their slaves? No, there wasn't. There was no law.
Is there?
Am I incorrect or not?
You're correct on that part. There
Okay,
were no,
well, all right. So I'm
But-
saying,
but
the
you are
treatments
not-
different.
but you're
It's
not.
the treatment different.
But what about the same of beating? The question I asked though was, can you beat your slaves? How severely can you
No.
beat your slave? That's what I
No,
asked.
you didn't ask how severe. All you asked me is if you can beat your slave. I said yes. I said if you beat the slave to death, that there were repercussions. That's
Okay.
the exact statement.
But needless, whether there are repercussions or not, the God of the Bible condones the beating of slaves.
And I'm saying there were rules and regulations.
But-
were there rules and regulations in the transatlantic slavery?
But there are
Yes or no?
there are no rules
Okay.
for the beating. You can beat the
Yeah.
slave.
Was there any rules at all?
What
So
does
you see how the treatment is different, right?
what does a-
There's no law that prohibits you from killing your slave in the transatlantic. If you didn't like him, you could have just killed him. Nail him to the cross, send him to the dogs, anything you could have done.
the
Doesn't
fact
matter. There's no law.
the fact that you can beat your slave, that you can tell a person, a grown ass man, stand against this post, and I'm gonna
Right.
whip the shit out of you.
And
Whether there are rules of if they die or not after a few
Right.
days is inconsequential to me.
okay,
because
let me ask you
it's
this. I got
beat-
one question.
Because you're beating the living shit out of somebody.
All right, so let me ask you one question. Your American penal system that does the same thing, you tell me, is that right, wrong, incorrect, moral, immoral? Because I'm sure the prison officers can line a man up, put him against the wall, and beat the shit out of him.
No, that is actually illegal.
And I'm sure they can beat him within a whisker of death, and nobody's gonna be liable for
That no, actually that is illegal, and I know
do
if you
do they beat prisoners and slaves?
I know
in the penitentiary.
there are prison guards and police officers who are in jail because they beat the shit out of somebody without cause, without justification. So yes, that is illegal. That's on the books. That's being
So
illegal.
is the penal correctional system in America moral or immoral? Since it is, they can own an inmate and they will pass him down until death do us part.
No.
Or put him in the gas, or put him in the electric chair, or the gas. But
Most
gas changer.
prisoners
No gas chamber.
most prisoners in the United States have a time limit on how long they're going to be in prison.
Yeah, for life. Some of them got control. Depends on the state.
What part are you not listening to? Most prisoners
Okay.
have a time limit, a sentence that does not go to they don't have life sentence. Most prisoners don't have life sentences. So you can stop with that part. So the prison, although prison has similarities to slavery, prison is not slavery in the same sense as the transatlantic.
Is it moral or immoral?
What, to be in prison?
Yeah.
No, it's moral. Ain't nothing wrong putting people in prison. If you violate the common law that we have agreed upon, then your ass needs to go to prison. There ain't nothing wrong with putting people in prison. If you're a danger to society, go to prison. But I'm sitting over here.
But what you saying? So let me understand.
But stop. You're moving the goalpost.
In the Bible, wait. I'm talking about what you saying is that in the Bible, the Israeli slave master, and I'm saying most of these laws were enactments before they even got to the promised land, right? None of these things weren't even in existence, even in the book. All of these laws was for when they reach, but most people quote them. I got no problem dealing with it. But here's my point. You think that the Israeli would just look at the slave and say, man, I feel like beating you up today for nothing.
What does that have to do?
You think that's what happens?
It depends on the slave master. You want me to read the mind of people who've been dead for thousands of years?
No, but I'm saying let's be logical, right? Let's be logical both in the Atlantic and both in the
let's be logical. Slaves have been beaten for spilling a cup. Slaves have been beaten for being late. Slaves have been beaten for looking at their master or speaking out of turn. Slaves can be beaten for many
That's what Hollywood has purported, right? But here's what I'm saying. If the masters know that the slave was his money, meaning that that's his investment. So if it is, I beat the slave and kill them all, I paid for them, right?
Which is why slaves in America weren't beaten to death on wholesale, because they were an investment of money. So slave masters weren't beating to death and sticking the dogs on the regular average little slave. Now you run away, you try to run away, you try to kill a white person, or you steal something. Yeah, they might punish you harsher then, and if you run away, they might kill you in order to strike fear in the other 200 slaves that they have. But they weren't just walking around killing all the damn slaves like you're trying to suggest here.
But that's what I'm saying.
The question was, the Bible
No, but I'm asking, if it is, that's the logical explanation in the transatlantic. Do you think that the Israeli generations that they did the opposite? They just let me just watch these people and beat them for no reason. Although they were slaves just 40 years
for
before.
Whatever justifications throughout
40 years, 40 days.
For whatever justification throughout time immemorial that slave masters have beaten slaves, those same rationales have been in existence. You'll be able to find slave masters who didn't beat their slaves severely for every little thing. You'll find those who did. It's just something that people have done because slavery is a people thing. But your Bible is condoning the beating of slaves. Your Bible is condoning chattel slavery in itself, which is the same shit that happened in the transatlantic slave trade.
Right. Does it condone the treatment? That's what I'm getting at.
It doesn't matter because that's not the topic.
No, because you don't want to answer the question.
I've answered your question. There are some differences in the transatlantic slave trade as far as treatment, which is why I said treatment is not even part of it. The question
Right.
is, is the core principle of the transatlantic slave trade condoned in the Bible, which is the condoning of chattel
No,
slavery?
that's not the core principle. I'm just saying that the
The,
chattel
at the
transaction.
core, at the core of it, it is owning
No.
another person as
Come on,
property
coach.
and pass. The transatlantic slave trade at its core is owning another person as property and being able to transfer them down from generation to generation. The treatment
Oh,
of
you think
slave,
that's the core?
the
That's
tr-
the core.
the treatment of slavery, and which is why
No, you
what
saying that's the core value in slavery? That was the core. I thought the core value was that you bought people for labor to do a physical production of raw material. That's what's the
you
core
own
process for
no,
slavery was.
that was the usage of slavery. The core
But
of
that's the main reason they brought slaves to the West Indies.
was it chattel
and America.
slavery? Was it chattel slavery? It's very
And
simple.
I'm saying the chattel process of it was based on the masters and their children inheriting the same business and carrying on the same business for generations until it ended.
This is the reason why treatment don't matter, is because you can find different treatments within the transatlantic slave trade. For instance, in the Brazilian slavery, if the master had a son by a slave woman, then that son would then be part of the inheritance of the father. That wasn't something that happened in North America, but that's something that happened in Brazil. So we can find different levels of treatment between slavery all throughout the transatlantic, and as well as the different treatments that you have within the Bible that it condones and that it doesn't condone. But the point is the basis of transatlantic slave trade was chattel slavery, which is what's condoned in the Bible.
All right, so
treatment don't matter.
Let me just get.
And I'm done talking about treatment.
Oh, okay. No, that's not. I just want to show you an example in the Bible that most people tend to not be cognizant of, right? So I want to talk about, and just give me like 30 seconds, I'll be quick, right? So in the book of Joshua, right? When Joshua and them, they move into the promised land and they conquer Ai and they conquer Ai and what's the name of the
Jericho.
world city again? Jericho, right? The Gibeonites, right, who was a couple of cities together, right, like a nation. They got wind of Joshua, and you know what they did? They tricked Joshua, and they said, "No, we're gonna do. We're gonna go and tell these people that we fear their God because we heard about what their God did in Egypt, and we will tell them that we will be their slaves." Right? Long story short, that's what they did. So it's when Joshua moved to the city now to go conquer it. He's like, "Wait, you guys, people tricked me, right? They're like, yeah, we already know that you was gonna win, so we don't want to die. So we prefer, right, to give ourselves to you, right, as slaves." And Joshua said, "Okay, you all are gonna be our slaves forever." So all of the cities of Gibeon were actually slave cities. Entire civilization became the slaves of the Hebrew Israelites. Now, do you think that they just went in, took them up, beat them, and do? No, they actually.
See, there you go. I said I'm done with treatment. That ain't got shit to do with treatment.
No, but I'm just showing you.
You ain't showing shit. That ain't got nothing to do with treatment.
Showing
You're
you
dishonest. You always demonstrate. I give you an opportunity. Shut up talking. Shut up.
Come on.
No, shut the fuck up.
Now, coach. Come on, you manifest.
I give you an opportunity to stop being disingenuous. I said that I'm done with treatment. Treatment ain't got shit to do with the conversation. Treatment don't. And I've told you, if I mute you, do not unmute yourself until I unmute you. You don't have.
Come on, man.
Dude, you do that shit one more time, I'm done with you.
You running. Come on. Why you scared?
Y'all gonna learn. This is my channel. You're gonna learn that there is a level of respect that a person is gonna have.
He's moving all over the place. He cannot pin down one idea, exhaust that idea, then move to the next one. I tell you, I have trouble with these guys. I have a lot of trouble with these guys, man. I tell you.
That just throws, and I'm with you, Happy. It just, if I give the parameters for the discussion, You want to go way outside. I gave you a little bit of leeway, but then I said I'm done with the whole treatment thing because treatment ain't got nothing to do with it, right? The fact of the matter is that the Bible condones chattel slavery, right? Once you, and that in itself is enough. Now, there are some variations in treatment, but at the end of the day, treatment don't matter because the main treatment here is the fact that you have taken away the agency of life of another person. I can't choose where I want to live. I can't choose what kind of work I want to do, what time I get up, what time I go to sleep, what I get to eat, what I get to wear. I can't choose a wife or I can't choose whether or not my kids get to be with me because you own me as property. And that is chattel slavery that was in the Bible, and that is the chattel slavery of the transatlantic slave trade. And this God condones it. And I know, what's the young lady? I always never remember her dang on name on here. But she asked me to, am I saying condoning or allow, which is another way that Bible believers try to justify it. Because they said, well, God allowed them to do this because they were already doing it. Well, they were already wearing mixed linen, so why did this guy, he just should have allowed them to do that, right? They were already doing things that this guy in their society, and this guy just say, nope, we're going to change that. Don't boil a baby calf in mother's milk. Change it. Not going to do it. You know, they were already doing some stealing, but he changed that. So when this God makes a decree about something, he is not condoning, he is not allowing, he has the ability to just say, this is over, stop doing this. That's over. Don't worship any other gods aside from me. Don't worship no other gods. He didn't have to allow them to go through a process to grow and mature into not worshiping other gods. He said, this is the rule. So in Leviticus 25, he's saying this is the rule, chattel slavery. So he is condoning it. That's the difference between condoning and allowing. That there is no allowance with this God. It is, these are my rules, follow my rules, or I'm going to kick your ass, basically. So the treatment don't matter. And I don't, and this is why I stopped letting Primer get up here. At first, he started out like he was going to be legit. But then you go off the rails with the bullshit. Trying to move, like you said in your comments, trying to move the goalpost. It doesn't matter how you treat it. It doesn't matter that these Gibeonites said that, oh, we want to be your slaves. We're good. We don't want to lose or die. What does that matter? The fact of chattel slavery is condoned. In Joshua, when the Danites can't kill all the people, they're supposed to genocide all the people, then Joshua tells them, hey, make them your slaves. And then he tells all the tribes of Israel, for the nations, genocide everybody from the land that you're inheriting, but then for the nations next to you, make them your slaves. The Bible is condoning chattel slavery, pure and simple. There's no other ways around it. So if somebody